Hello everyone, there are many national symbols in the world. And for a country that is very familiar to the Vietnamese people, France, it is a symbol called the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower for football fans, it is the place where Cristiano Ronaldo received his 5th gold medal in his career at the awards ceremony held on the Eiffel Tower. This is also the location rented by the Paris Saint-Germain club and then made a presentation to welcome Neymar to join this team. And soon, Paris Saint-Germain also plans to do the same to welcome Messi. Yes, the Eiffel Tower is one of the most famous architectural works in the world, although it is not the tallest, most beautiful, or largest. Today we will review a little bit about what makes the Eiffel Tower different and beautiful. If you find it interesting, don't forget to click the subscribe button to support and follow the production. First of all, why is it called the Eiffel Tower and not the Paris Tower or the Tower of France? Because this is a project named after the architect Gustave Eiffel. Actually, he was not the one who designed this project from start to finish, but he was the director of the company that did this project. And then he modified the drawings and bought the patent for the Eiffel Tower. According to Mr. Eiffel's original ideas, this tower should be located in Spain, not in France. That was in the late 19th century, specifically in 1888, Spain held a world exhibition. But then the Spanish thought that this project was too expensive and strange, so they decided not to approve it. Fortunately, a year later, a world exhibition was held in Paris. And this project won the prize to become the symbol of the 1889 Paris exhibition. This was also the occasion to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. In order for the Eiffel Tower to be completed in 1889, of course it had to be built before. The total construction time was 2 years, 2 months, and 5 days. During the entire construction process, there was not a single fatal accident that happened to the workers. Only one worker died, but it was on a day off. That worker was not working but brought his wife to visit the construction site at noon and then fell due to losing balance. From there, we can see how the labor safety factor is put first. Before the Eiffel Tower was built in France, there were ideas to build towers inspired by that in the US and in France itself. But these ideas were not implemented. At that time, people often thought of building a tower like a lighthouse on the continent. That means still using traditional materials such as stone, for example. Not many people think of using an all-iron architecture. And we also have to thank the context in which the Eiffel Tower was born. Talking about building in an exhibition. And when it comes to exhibitions, the artistic value will be put first. And sometimes you can show off a little bit, but that architecture must have a specific function. The idea of building an iron tower was for the French to demonstrate their right to use iron in the context of the Industrial Revolution at that time. So one thing people care about is how tall the tower is. The original height of this tower is 300 meters. But the antenna mast at the top has helped the Eiffel Tower reach a height of 325 meters. Since the Eiffel Tower was inaugurated in 1889, it has been the tallest building in the world. And it held this position for more than 40 years until a building in New York was built in 1930. At first, in addition to its tourist function, the Eiffel Tower was also used for scientific purposes. Today, the Eiffel Tower is a radio and television broadcasting station for the Paris metropolitan area. At first, not all French people welcomed the Eiffel Tower. In fact, they were particularly upset by the presence of the Eiffel Tower. They thought it was like a nail hammered into the capital, Paris. A group of architects even signed a document to protest the construction of the Eiffel Tower. They called this structure useless and too strange. A romantic writer in the capital Paris even often dined at a restaurant at the foot of the tower because he thought this was the only place where he could see Paris without seeing the Eiffel Tower. Because the Eiffel Tower was built for an exhibition, it was originally intended to be a temporary structure. In the construction plan, the Eiffel Tower was only intended to last for about 20 years, when it would be dismantled. However, after 20 years of operation, the Eiffel Tower has become an indispensable symbol in the heart of Paris. Thanks to the Eiffel Tower, Paris has become more magnificent, more bustling, and attracts more tourists. Every night, the tower is currently illuminated by 336 projectors and more than 20,000 lights. Initially, the tower was painted yellow. Later, people used reddish-brown for this architectural work. After that, every 7 years the entire tower will be painted a new coat of paint to prevent rust. And each time the Eiffel Tower is painted like that, people have to use about 60 tons of paint. At the time the Eiffel Tower was first inaugurated, there were 30,000 visitors. They walked 1,710 stairs to climb to the top of the tower. After 3 weeks, the Eiffel Tower elevator was put into use. To conquer the Eiffel Tower, you need to spend about 30 minutes walking, a quite tiring journey. Therefore, most visitors today choose to take the elevator. The elevators travel a total distance of 103,000 kilometers, 2.5 times the circumference of the Earth, each year. Since the Eiffel Tower opened until now, a total of about 250 million visitors have visited this structure. Today, the structure welcomes about 7 million visitors each year. And this is considered the structure that sells tickets with the largest number of visitors in the world every year. And each ticket counter at the Eiffel Tower consumes about 2 tons of paper every year. French visitors to the Eiffel Tower account for about 10.4%. The rest are tourists from all over the world. And to maintain daily operations, it takes 500 employees. Here are some other interesting facts about the Eiffel Tower. When it is windy, the Eiffel Tower sways about 7 centimeters. When building this structure, engineers used 18,038 iron bars weighing more than 10 tons. It is affected by the phenomenon of thermal expansion. When it freezes, the tower will shrink by about 10 to 20 centimeters, and under the summer sun, the sun causes the iron bars to expand. The tower can be up to 17 centimeters higher. There was a time when the Eiffel Tower seemed to be moved from Paris. It was in 1967, also a world exhibition held in Canada. The market of Montreal City in Canada at that time wanted to bring the Eiffel Tower to this city. However, the French Prime Minister at that time did not agree. The next truth is that the Eiffel Tower was sold for scrap metal, even sold for scrap metal twice. In 1925, a scammer named Victor Lustig read an article about the Eiffel Tower's severe rust condition at that time. And this person pretended to be a leader in France, sending letters inviting scrap metal collection companies. Some dealers were convinced and even paid the scammer Lustig. This scammer even sold the Eiffel Tower twice before being caught. This is also a work that played a certain role in 2 wars, World War I and World War II. In World War I, with its height, the Eiffel Tower was the place to send signals to direct the French army. And in World War II, the French had to destroy the elevator system to the Eiffel Tower so that when the Nazis occupied the capital Paris, they would not easily climb up and damage this work. But then Hitler still ordered the Eiffel Tower to be destroyed. Fortunately, this order was not carried out because of the opposition of many people. In addition to appearing in the works of artists, photographers and filmmakers, the Eiffel Tower has also become the most famous romantic destination in the world. Many new tourists wish to take pictures with this beautiful architectural work, stand at the foot of the tower and go to the top of the tower to admire the view. But people do not always consider romantic ideas with the Eiffel Tower. This is also the place that witnessed the departure of many people. One of the most famous philosophies at the Eiffel Tower was in 1912, Frank Ritschl, an Austrian tailor, decided to jump from the 2nd floor of the tower. He equipped himself with a homemade parachute and believed that this would be a parachute that could open and help people fly in the air. Frank Ritschl's jump was recorded, and a documentary film of several dozen seconds long is still on the internet today. In this film, he started to turn around to face the camera, proudly showing off his parachute. In fact, a type of jacket had been changed. Frank Ritschl hesitated for a long time before deciding to jump and fell very quickly. After that, he was lying on the ground. Even after this jump, there was a small hole left in the ground. An autopsy showed that Mr. Ritschl died before hitting the ground due to a heart attack. He was the one who started the list of daredevils who wanted to try jumping from the Eiffel Tower. Many people lost their lives. As mentioned, there were no fatal accidents during the construction process. But so far, the list of deaths related to the Eiffel Tower has reached nearly 400 people. They can be adventure sports enthusiasts, accidents, suicides. Therefore, people have had to install a safety net system to limit possible accidents. But every year, people still die at the Eiffel Tower. Most of them are adventurers and try to overcome this safety net system. And finally, in the world, there are many works inspired by the Eiffel Tower or even built in the style of a copy of the Eiffel Tower. In Las Vegas, there is a 165m high Eiffel Tower. Similarly, in Hangzhou, China, there is a small Paris 2 capital and in it there is a 108m high Eiffel Tower. Also in China, in Shenzhen City, there is another copy about 100m high. In Germany, there is also a 150m high version of the Eiffel Tower built for radio and television broadcasting. And more famously, the Tokyo Tower in Japan was also inspired by the Eiffel Tower with a height of 333m, even taller than the original version. In Vietnam, there are also versions of the Eiffel Tower, but they are small and cute. Most of them are used at tourist attractions for visitors to check in and feel a little happier. This is all I want to say about the Eiffel Tower story today. I hope you will find it interesting. Don't forget to leave your suggestions for future topics that can be done on this YouTube channel. I would like to say goodbye and thank you very much.